Welcome to another Just Dad Things video. We're going to talk about building a custom bike holder for a camper drop-down rack. This is showcasing the parts and pieces that you're going to need. The only thing that I've currently assembled that I haven't recorded is going to be the wood components, piece of 4x4 lumber, piece of 2x4 lumber, pretty basic stuff, some 3/8 bolts, simple washers and lock washers, a nailer plate, mainly because it's cheap, some black paint, and some wing nuts just for ease of installation on and off of the drop down rack. So the first step is to cut your lumber to size, glue it, screw it, or fasten it however you'd like together. The standard 4x4 lumber, this one I cut at 10 inches wide, just seemed like a nice number. And then for the 2x4, I have this a little over 3 foot. Depending on your bike, you may want to go higher or shorter. It's really up to you. I just have a standard beach cruiser back there, and about 3 feet's all I need on the height of that. So what I did for fastening is wood glue here, clamped it together for a couple days, a little overkill, and then I just added some 3-inch drywall screws just for some added support, stability there. Alright, she's painted. Dried to the touch pretty quick to where I could lay it down and paint the bottom. It was nice. It's very hot today. Mid-90s outside. We got a heat warning going on, but I'm in the shade. I'm alright. I do 2 coats. You can kind of see through a few areas. I want this to be nice and protected as it's going to be out in the elements during towing. And of course, when I get it at the campground, I'm not putting this inside. It's just too much space. It'll be left out. So this will protect it. It's already pressure treated lumber, but a coat of paint really does help protect it a lot more. I mainly just wanted to point out, you really want to get your end grains if you're going to paint. Don't forget those. That's where, like here where all your cuts are, that's where water usually gets in lumber and causes rot and damage. So if you don't plan to paint it, it can't hurt to at least hit your end grains with something just to protect those. Alright, while we wait for the paint to dry, we want to measure how spaced out we want our holes. Now your drop down piece may be different than mine, so the pattern's the same throughout. We're of course going to be putting it in the middle. That's a pain in the ass to measure, so we're just going to measure here. The metal plate, nailer plate, is 9 inches, so we have that much to play with, and I want it to be like right in the middle of the pattern, so I'm not fighting the bolt hitting stuff. Maybe 7 3/4. Bolt could be in the middle there. 7 3/4 bolt can be in the middle there, type of thing. And of course, how far down we want to be, we're gonna have to measure this way, because part of this, you can see, it's going to be blocked off. So for me, you may want to come down pretty much 3 inches. Would be perfect. So 3 inch by 7 3/4. Alright, so we got our 4 by 9 inch nailer plate. I mainly went with this one. It's quite thin. It's 1/8 inch thick, but it's still really sturdy. And it was really cheap. It was like not even $5 at my local Home Depot. For a piece of metal like this. Can't beat it, really. So the thing with drilling in metal, it's very difficult. You can definitely tear up some drill bits. I just got some cheap Harbor Freight drill bits here, which kind of makes it worse, but I also don't mind tearing them up. The main trick to drilling metal is low and slow is the secret, not fast and hard. That'll just tear the bit up and you won't even get anywhere with drilling. So I've already marked my plate. I'm 3 inches down on either side as we'd measured back at the camper, and also 7 3/4 from each point away, again as we measured over at the camper already. So again, with metal it's tricky. You want to start with a smaller bit. This is just a smaller drill bit I have, but eventually we're going to work our way up to this size here, which is just slightly larger than the 3/8 bolt. That will allow for the bolt to pass through this plate. Didn't record much of drilling this puppy out. Very difficult, I assumed. It's hardened steel. I mean, the whole purpose of this plate is so people don't drill through it or get nails through it to poke a hole in your CSST gas piping. That's its entire purpose. And of course, I was just using standard drill bits, so it just took a while. I just had a really large drill bit kit and just went up one size at a time, very slowly. I did eventually add a lot of heat with a torch. You can see on this side a lot of discoloration that side. Went a little easier on it and it still worked for me. So at the end of the day, using a plate like this is very, very difficult, especially to drill through it. Maybe easier for others that are more accustomed to drilling steel, things like that. But at the end of the day, I got the job done and the drill bits are still somewhat worthy. I just want to take this time to say, maybe don't copy me verbatim with this project. Mainly with this plate. I just wanted something metal, something real girthy, you know, to hold on to the project. And but man, drilling these holes was very, very difficult. So if you do go this route and you don't have the specific drill bit designed for this part may be very difficult. Of course, you could just go with like a 2x4 or just something else. Even like a 1/4 inch sheet of plywood could probably work. But again, I just wanted something a little more durable, something that'd last. And this is gonna last probably a while. Maybe not where I heated it up too much, but so just a little update on that. Now we just gotta mark the bottom with the plate and where the holes are. I want to start drilling from the bottom because I may not drill 100% straight. You know, if you were to mark the top, it may not line up at the bottom, which is where the plate's going to end up being. So I'm just going to hold this here, mark the holes, and drill them through. I want to show the product in its finished state with a bike on the back of the camper. Got a jerry-rig strapping system going on just for testing purposes, but it looks like it's going to do pretty good. Pretty secure. It's leaning not towards the camper. That's the primary function here of building this apparatus. Of course, that apparatus is right here in the middle. 3 foot high, plenty. Strap this bike to it. Come down here, you can see how bolted it on. There's the plate, wing nuts, just going through the holes, and the drop down cage here. It wasn't the easiest thing, especially with the spare tire on the back, but it's doable. You can get your hand under there. Bolts just coming through on either side, and it's just shooting straight up. Pretty straightforward here. I couldn't find any other system or really any other thing that you could buy that was compatible with the drop-down rack. There's a ton of bike accessories that go directly on the bumper or modifications where all it's doing is the bike, but I don't want that. Still want the flexibility of this drop-down rack for other trips that doesn't involve bringing the bike. But this will work out for sure, I think. Like I said, it's pretty secured. You get the wobbleness to it because it's secured again to the lattice style drop down there, but it ain't going nowhere, that's for sure.